Hi everybody! In this video we will create an ambient pad with the Alchemy synth of Logic Pro X. So without further ado, my name is Matthias, let's go! Okay, so let's open up a new instance of the Alchemy synth in Logic Pro X. And we will go to Initialize Preset to have a new blank clean slate. First off, we want to replace this first oscillator. If you go to global, you can see that you have 4 oscillators in Alchemy, the A, B, C and D. So if we go into the first oscillator and open up our Finder or browser and find a sound to use as a source for us, for our preset, our pad. And I have this light bulb ping, which is from my Found Sounds pack. If you don't have the pack, you can grab it at my website, morningdewmedia.com/audioshop. There's a link in the description. And here you have the Found Sounds pack. So let's go to the Found Sounds pack. We take the light bulb ping. And if we drag it to Alchemy, we can select if we want to have this sample as additive playback or spectral, granular or sampler. For this sound we're going to have granular playback. Initially it's set up to play from forward. It's set up to play from the beginning of the sample to the end of the sample. Just like a regular sampler. But if we decrease the speed, the sample will stay at this first, at this position place. And play grains from that part. And we can increase the density, so we have more grains. And also the size of the grains, how long they will play. And then we can make some elaboration with this position point. We can add a LFO, right click, add modulation and select LFO sign. If we now go to this modulation box and increase the amount, you can see that the play position is animated, is automated. Then we can also go to HDSR and make a little bit of attack. So we have a slower, more soft attack to the sound. We will also increase the release slightly so the sound stays with us a little bit longer. Now we can also offset the panning of these 8 grains that are played back. So just increase this panning and you can hear the sound spreading in the stereo field. So you get a more open sound. Okay, so that's the first part of the sound. Now let's go and add some another sound to this, another sound source. You activate this on button here and select a sine wave because we're going to do FM synthesis, and FM synthesis really works good with basic waveforms like the sine. Here we have a pure sine wave. Usually when I'm doing FM synthesis, I open up a equalizer or a spectrum analyzer so I can see what happens to the sound when I'm doing the synthesis. So let's depress this light bulb ping so we can only work with the second oscillator, our sine wave here. You can see there, it's a pure sine. Now we can do FM synthesis with this sound. Be sure to activate the second oscillator. Go and activate the filter. It's currently set to low pass, 12 dB, and go down to the FM. To be able to hear anything, you need to drag down this knob for the note and drag it to C2 maybe. And to be able to work with this in a practical manner, you right click and add modulation, note property and key follow, and drag it to 100% for the modulation. So now it will follow the note of your keyboard. And here you can see all the overtones that are generated by this, by modulating this sound with FM. Now we can activate the first sound so we can hear that they play well together. Let's just make this sound a little less in volume, so we can hear that light bulb ping more. I want this sound to come a little like in waves, so we can introduce that by right-clicking on the modulation knob of the FM filter and add a LFO, a new LFO. And make sure to depress the bipolarity button here. We want a little bit slower. It's a quite nice, smooth pad. Now we can also make use of the filter of the global filter. These are all, if you go down into each oscillator, it's a filter per oscillator. So if we go to global, there's a global filter for the whole sound. So let's also modulate that by an LFO. Add LFO and increase the depth. Depress the bipolarity button again. A little bit of resonance maybe, and a little bit of drive. We can actually drag down the resonance slightly, and then we can maybe add a little bit of effects on the sound too. Let's add a little bit of distortion, a little bit of tube. Not too much, just a tad. And then some delay. I set it to 8 notes. And a little bit less in mix. And then also we can add some reverb to this sound to make it a little bit more lush and big. Now a good thing here in the Alchemy Synth is you can go into this morph section, and now you can see that you have the 4 oscillators here, and you have a morph panel, so you can drag it all to the left, then you will only hear the first A oscillator. And then you can drag it to the right and hear more of that FM synthesizer, this B oscillator. So you can do some automation between these two in your song. Okay, so let's record something with that sound. I like to have this timeline view in set to custom, so you can see a little bit more settings up here. Okay, so let's record something. Now when we're finished with recording, we can just select these parts, press the Q for quantize, and maybe remove some mistake notes. Let's just add a little sound here in the beginning. Just do a little quick arrangement of this with this pad. Maybe a little bit of delay on that one too. You can just use the tape delay maybe. Now I will create a transition sound just by adding this bucket sound, adding tons of reverb to it, like this. And bounce in place by right-clicking and selecting bounce in place, and we call this transition sound effect. And then we can go into the file view, double click on the file and reverse. So now we get the sweet transition sound, which we can use wherever we like in our track. A good tip is to also go into snap view here and select snap regions to absolute value, because then you can adjust these ending and start points of your sample to follow the exact bars in your timeline. Let's also create a quick bass with the Alchemy synth. Initialize preset. We can go with maybe square wave. And just hold down Alt and duplicate this ambient pad. And double click to go in there and just remove all the top notes. can push it down an octave. Make sure to add some distortion to this sound. And activate the arpeggiator. And add a little bit of filter. Let's make sure that this is also quantized. Yeah, so that's how to create an ambient pad with the Alchemy Synth of Logic Pro X. I hope you liked this video, and please subscribe if you're new, and be sure to check my next video on the Alchemy Synth. I hope to see you soon, and let me know in the comments if you have any questions or suggestions for new topics. Thanks a lot for watching, and have a really nice Christmas. See you soon. Bye bye.